If you've ever felt the absolute frustration of having a brain that seems to be running on a completely different operating system, you know that the usual advice just doesn't work. So in this explainer, we're going to dive into a much better approach, building a system that actually works with your brain, not against it.
Right, let's get this out of the way. We are moving way past the just try harder myth. Instead, we're going to look at some really practical methods drawn from leading experts for building a life that truly works for the ADHD brain.
So here's our game plan. First, we're going to talk about a huge mindset shift. Then we'll get into the practical stuff like building an external brain, getting a handle on tasks and time, reframing all the emotional stuff that comes with this, and finally, how to focus on real, sustainable growth.
Okay, first things first, we have to change the entire goal. The idea is not to fix your brain, because, let's be clear, it is not broken. The real goal is to build smart, effective supports around the brain you actually have.
See, ADHD directly impacts these core executive functions, things like planning ahead, your sense of time, keeping emotions in check, and your working memory. And that is why just trying to power through with willpower alone is such a frustrating and unreliable strategy. It's kind of like trying to run brand new software on the wrong hardware. You need a totally different approach.
And this, right here, is the crucial shift in thinking. Instead of trying to force yourself into a box that just doesn't fit, you become an architect. You're literally designing a system, a day, where your unique brain can actually succeed. It's all about strategy, not trying to be normal.
I love this quote because it just perfectly captures the whole idea. Think about your planners, your phone alarms, your daily routines. These are not crutches. They're scaffolding. They are your external brain, and they provide the structure and support you need to build the life that you really want. So that idea of scaffolding leads us right into our first set of practical strategies, how to actually build your external brain. And the golden rule here is so simple. For the ADHD brain, if it's out of sight, it's out of mind, period. So we have to find ways to make all the important things visible. You can start with this one powerful habit. Once a day, just get everything out of your head and onto a piece of paper. I mean, everything. The to-do list, the random ideas, all the worries. Then, and this part is key, you look at that big list and choose only 1 to 3 things that are your real priorities for the day. This gets all the noise out of your head and gives you clarity. And you can apply this same principle physically, in your space. If you need to remember to take a form with you in the morning, put it right next to your keys. Want to actually read that book before bed? Don't put it on the shelf, put it directly on your pillow. You're creating a physical reminder system that your brain literally can't ignore. Okay, let's talk about 2 of the biggest hurdles, just getting started on tasks and dealing with that weird perception of time. When huge, vague tasks feel completely paralyzing and time just feels like now or not now, with nothing in between. Oh, this slide is everything. The ADHD brain just freezes when it sees vagueness. Clean the kitchen. Sounds like a monumental task, and it's a perfect recipe for overwhelm. But put dishes in sink? Well, you can do that. That is a concrete, tiny, achievable first action. The secret isn't finding motivation to finish the whole thing. It's just defining the absolute smallest possible step to get started. Now, what's so smart about this is how it adapts the classic time blocking idea. This isn't some rigid rule you have to follow. No, it's a flexible guide that's based on your actual energy level right now. If you're having a low energy day, a 5-minute sprint is a huge win. The timer isn't a weapon to punish yourself with. It's just a gentle friend to help you manage your focus without burning out.
All right, let's get into what is often the hardest part of ADHD. It's not really the tasks or the timers, it's those intense feelings, the shame, the frustration, the overwhelm that can just completely derail your entire day. This is where we learn to shift from self-blame to actual strategy.
This is just a fundamental truth. We have to understand that beating yourself up, that inner critic, is not a motivator. It's an anchor. It just drags you down. The most effective approach, it turns out, is combining self-compassion, really understanding why you're struggling, with a practical strategy to move forward. So instead of jumping to the conclusion, I'm just lazy, get curious. Become a compassionate detective for your own mind. Ask yourself this question. Are you avoiding this task because it's boring? Is it scary? Is it confusing? Is it just way too big? By naming the real reason you're stuck, you stop judging yourself and you can actually start solving the problem. We really need to talk about this thought.
For so many people, it's automatic, it's constant, and it is so incredibly destructive. It's a total dead end. It offers zero solutions, only shame. So we're going to make a conscious choice to replace it.
And here's the beautiful reframe. You see how you're shifting from a moral judgment about your character to just a logistical observation about your brain's wiring. My brain struggles with starting is just a neutral fact, like having brown hair, and the solution is built right in. A gentle, low-stakes invitation to just try it for 5 minutes. That's it.
So the big question is, how do we make all of this stick? Let's zoom out and look at the big picture. None of these strategies are one-time fixes. They are skills. And just like any other skill, you build them over time through consistent and very imperfect practice. To make this last for the long haul, you have to keep it simple. Try a really brief weekly check-in, less than 10 minutes, just to see what worked and what didn't. Focus on improving just one skill at a time. Maybe it's starting tasks, maybe it's time awareness. And critically lean on support. This is not a solo mission. That could be a therapist, a coach, or even just a friend who really gets it. And as we start to wrap up, I really want you to hold on to this idea. The whole point of building all this scaffolding isn't to erase your personality or to turn you into some kind of productivity robot. It's about giving the amazing person you already are the tools to live with a little more ease and a lot less stress. Just let that sink in for a minute. It's such a powerful and validating truth. For years, you've probably been trying to use a user manual that was written for a completely different operating system. It's time to start using the one that was actually written for yours. So I'll leave you with this final question. I'm not talking about a huge life overhaul or some promise of perfection. Just, what is one small, simple support structure, one tiny scaffold you can build for yourself today? What's it going to be? A 5-minute timer? Writing down just one task? Putting your keys by the door? Just start there.